It's not a trip, this is how I feel. Pop champagne, I'ma do it for the thrill. Escape with me, I'm saying it maybe. We could take off and then land on a jet ski. Baby, I hold you tight. Top shelf with it.
I was thinking about Mother's Day because I was thinking about one, me and Sydney used to like literally go all out, like just these two little girls and like making sure, like, Mom, when you think about it,
you know how to make it sound
when
cute.
you think about it, it was just me and Sydney, two little girls, and Mother's Day was coming up. You would have thought we were planning for like a world tour. Like in advance, we're like, okay, look, let's get together, like discuss, like this is game time. So what's coming up? What did you make at school? What did I make at school? What breakfast are we making? Like,
sorry, that's so cute. You've never told me that before.
Mom, no, me and Sydney, it wasn't like we woke up and said, okay, so we're gonna cook breakfast. We would talk about it. Like we would think about it.
Y'all had no idea. Some of those early Mother's Day were rough. Like,
it was
going through with my relationship and, you know, expecting him to take y'all and he didn't. And I'm like,
we just like made it work.
This is supposed to be my time.
Or I think sometimes maybe like Graham would take us to get stuff. I don't know why I have a memory of that.
But I took back my Mother's Day to where it wasn't so sad. But there were moments it was just associated with some sad stuff. But I remember one Mother's Day. I don't know if you remember this. Y'all did a routine, a dance routine.
And you know, oh my gosh, the kids my age will know. It was from Phineas and Ferb. But it was the mom's birthday. We sang, because she sang, Mom, it's your birthday. But we replaced it with Mother's Day. But that was from Phineas and Ferb.
I'm so glad you remembered because I didn't know.
Because
did y'all change all the words?
No, just like the Mother's Day stuff. Okay. And like some of the words, like in the song, she said something about her brothers, and we said sister instead because it's like just sisters and stuff.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But yes, that like went triple platinum with Phineas and Ferb. What? So like, But we did that routine. And you know, it's funny because we talked about this a while back. You were like the progression of the breakfast, because you were like, when y'all were younger, it was very much like, where you're going to take the one bite in front of us. Obviously, you're not eating that breakfast.
Oh, yeah. After that, I'm like, this breakfast is sus.
He like, but thanks, girls. Like,
yeah, like I really, now when I think back on it, y'all were consistent. I really do appreciate it.
It was so serious to us, Mom.
Yeah.
We love Mother's Day.
And I remember one Mother's Day where I was just so upset. Like I said, I thought he was going to take him, your dad.
Oh, you were upset.
And I just laid in the bed all day. But it wasn't a good lay in the bed. It was like a Lifetime on and kind of just sad.
Which, oh my gosh, that's actually funny. Well, no, I'll get to that in a second. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But there was one Mother's Day where you were going to some kind of Mother's Day brunch, so we did you an appetizer. We cut up an apple and did peanut butter.
I was Sydney's idea.
Sydney said, well, she's going to Mother's Day brunch, so let's do her an appetizer while we give her the cards.
That's why both of y'all are, let me tell you this. I'm going to give y'all your props. Not even Mother's Day stuff, but like in general, y'all are very good planners.
Yeah, and me and Cindy don't play behind planning something for somebody and gifts for someone. Like,
y'all are
this
really
is coming
good with
up.
that.
Yes, it is a very big deal. Like events and things for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
For Sydney's birthday right now, we're planning for Cancun. Me and Sydney are on the phone. We're talking. Let's get this book scheduled. Yeah, like we're really big on that. We get that from you. But it's so interesting. Hold on, child. I'm about to choke.
Oh, now you want water?
Not too much, because this is still my water in my house.
No, see, now we doing too much on Mother's Day.
But no, it was you saying it wasn't a good lay in the bed. It was like a sad lay in the bed with Lifetime on. Yeah. You ended up having the complete opposite of our favorite Mother's Day ever, where we laid in the bed and watched Lifetime, but it was a good version.
It was like all the things I wanted to do. Like I remember Jimbo and I think LJ, all of y'all were in the kitchen fixing me breakfast.
I was spearheading it.
You were spearheading. I had breakfast in bed. And, after I had that, I didn't want to get up and do anything.
You didn't want to do a thing. And we were watching Lifetime movie after Lifetime movie. And it was hit after hit after hit. We're in the bed laughing, kikiing. Like, Mom, I look back and I'm like, that was the best day ever. Like the fact that to this day, we'd be like, remember that one Mother's Day and how fun it was? That was when we watched the movie, Who Am I Here Again? That was that day, Mom.
Oh, was it?
Yes. The fact that we still reference that movie to this day.
That was a scary point.
Look, let me tell you something. Lifetime movies back in the day.
He couldn't keep up with his life.
He had too many identities, child. So he's chasing after the girl. He pauses mid-chase. Who am I here again? Steven! And then he runs and keeps chasing. Lifetime used to go triple platinum in our household. Remember when Lifetime used to be like scary a little bit? Like the movies where it could be a little bit scary. No, but like they were darker. They're not as dark anymore.
Yeah, but I don't think I was ever scared at a Lifetime
right, like
movie.
not scared.
But I know what you mean.
As a kid, I probably was.
Yeah.
But now they can be a little bit corny, a little bit corny, a little bit laughable.
That's
you could
true.
laugh. Back then, Lifetime was dark. It's like woman abuse, fakes her death, moves away.
Yeah.
You're on pins and needles for her husband to come back. You're like,
it's
what?
like Lifetime now, although they'll have serious, the story sounds like a serious story, but the way they're like, I don't know if it's the directing, the filming. Bullcrap.
And then the name, Sinister Minister. You know what I mean? They weren't giving Sinister Minister back then. Yes, Sinister Minister. We love to reference that. Yeah. But no, that's what they're giving now.
But low key, I'll never forget.
Babysitter's Black Book.
Right. Last year, you get the, you were like, oh, I want to see Lifetime. And then you're trying to choose based on the titles.
Yes.
Because they are crazy.
Yes, and it's a load of bull now.
Killer cheerleader.
No, literally. Lifetime used to be good. It'd be like pageant problems. Like it'll be stuff like that. Like
girls fucking the face.
Yeah.
While eating Cheetos.
It's like stupid stuff. It used to be like mother disappeared. And it'd be like serious. Like an old husband comes and takes the mom. Story. And yes, a lot of the stuff used to be based on a true story. And it used to be serious business. Like,
but apparently they must still be doing well. Because, I thought that was his backside.
Lifetime Movie Network has more money than anyone, I believe.
Oh, for sure. I mean, matter of fact, Wendy Williams talked about that. She was like, with that whole lawsuit stuff, she said, I don't want to sue them. She says, I have a wonderful relationship with Lifetime.
They got money because they are consistently pushing out bad movies and they will never go bankrupt.
Not only bad movies, but like they have maths.
They have maths.
Married First Sight
That's
is very
Lifetime.
popular.
Well, it's two things: Lifetime Movie Network and Lifetime. But of course, it's the same.
Yeah, it's Lifetime.
It's under the same company, but multiple streams. We used to be eating up some Lifetime, and that Mother's Day, we ate it up next level.
We did.
Honestly, it was our last Lifetime movie.
I didn't grade any papers. I didn't do any lesson
one
plans.
paper,
and I was just like,
ooh,
if it could be Mother's Day forever.
I wish. But you know, one thing
we've always had in the house, like it's a tradition, whether it's your birthday, Father's Day, Mother's Day. You don't have to do anything, and B, you can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and if it's your dish week, you don't do dishes.
You don't do dishes that day.
We're so big on celebration.
Like I remember one Mother's Day, I just wanted to wash a load of clothes because the clothes had been piling up. You're like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm like, I just want to wash these clothes.
And you're like, right? It's still Sunday now.
And here's the thing, and I think other mothers, y'all can relate to this. Those clothes unwashed would bother me. So
so you would have to
washing
do it to relax.
Is a sense of like, whew, okay, everything's done.
Yeah.
And now my mind, it's what's going on up here.
It's always what's going on up there.
Up there. It's right here.
What's your favorite one ever though? Like, do you have like oh my gosh, this was my favorite Mother's Day ever, or favorite Mother's Day gift? Oh wait, I know what your favorite Mother's Day gift is.
Are you thinking about the
Coach?
The Coach.
Yeah. Because when you lost that,
pack.
It felt like a huge loss to the community.
To the community.
It was a loss to the family.
But I didn't realize how much. Like I liked it when you gave it to me. I was surprised, and it may have been, you had got me some gifts, but like as you make more money, like I think that was probably at that point the most expensive gift you had given me. I don't know.
And it just went up since then.
It went up since then.
And
then, Christmas. That's
also,
a whole nother...
I'm an edible arrangement giver. If an edible arrangement is going to be given, it's going to be given by me. And that started becoming a Mother's Day tradition.
And do you know, I would still like forget. Like I would forget on Mother's Day that might be coming because you're bringing me gifts.
Yeah.
I never assumed that was coming.
It's a perfect there's a flow to gift giving. Like give you the gift in the morning.
I always did that. I would build up.
We learned that from you, Mom.
I would build up because it's, to me, gift giving should be an experience. You know what I'm saying? There should be thought that goes into it. Because that thought, like, it didn't even have to be that you spent a lot of money on it. It's just that, like, wow, like, you literally thought about all the things that, like, might really matter to me.
Right.
That I might really need or want or what have you. Then it's like, oh, my gosh, I feel so special. But, ones that I remember, of course, the singing one, that was super cute when y'all were little. Breakfast in beds. Like, it's just that I remember the feelings, but I would say when we went that time, I remember I had those little linen pants, and they were like flowers on them. I remember you had filmed me. Was that when Jimbo had his Achilles and then we ended up going to Taco Mac?
Oh my gosh, yes, because we
Yeah.
couldn't get into table 25 because it was so packed.
Yeah, but table
That
25
was a
we had done the year.
No, that was a Mother's Day. That was a Mother's Day.
It was a Mother's Day. Had we done it the year before?
No, we ended up doing it for Father's Day because we finally could.
We
I got
did.
a reservation. I said, "Oh well, now we know we'll never not have a reservation ever again."
Yeah.
But when you were saying giving is an experience, because I want to say me and Cindy were talking about this, or people will ask me sometimes like why I make everything like an experience, and I'm like, we learned it from you because
Wow.
you made every single thing. Mom, growing up, it's summer. You're like, okay, I'm gonna rent some movies. You might have like a certain thing for us to eat. You would just make everything such a thing.
And you know what? I will say this. I'm big on like, even when I present,
Mm-hmm.
when I teach, I just always thought it was important for, first of all, if you're in the space with me, I want you to be comfortable.
Experience.
I don't want you to be sitting there like, I can't wait to get out of here.
No,
And so from
literally.
beginning to end, like I have music playing. Whatever vibe I'm going for, that's the music
Yes.
that I was playing.
You have to lead everybody
Right, you have to
through
lead
the
every
process. And you would just like make things fun. So now I make everything.
Right.
Even the smallest little things. It's time for me to watch a movie. Okay, well then let me put a cookies in the oven. 30 minutes
Ambiance, like
before.
just the whole.
Let me give it time to cool. While it cools, I take my shower.
Yes,
So by the time I'm done showering, I have my cookie, I watch my
yes.
movie. Like you always did that growing
It's
up.
like the little small pleasures of life. But when I would like, I remember I had done that presentation about disc, and it's called "Disc is How We Do It." I'm like, I've got to play that music.
You gotta
And
do.
so
It brings
these
it together.
people don't know me from a can of paint. I got the music playing, and I'm kind of like singing, and then they automatically start to loosen up.
Yeah,
They don't know me from a can of paint, and then to me, I think of it like as your neck's hurting.
Yes.
Was it from turning this same direction?
Yes.
That's never happened before.
Something's different today. Deani put this mic on the side.
We're 90 degrees.
It's because Deani put the mic on the side.
But my thing is, it should be even better because normally the mic is over here.
Because I'm turning more now. And typically I'm facing you, but I could be like this because my mic is here. So I never let my head turn too much. So now my neck hurts because Deani put the mic.
I was just trying to have some symmetry because,
but I do like the symmetry, so I'm not even going to lie.
She's going to work the neck situation out.
I'm going to have to work that out.
But yeah, I was just saying, I was able to like, at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, like things that are like, that you're learning that are very cerebral, that can be great. But I kind of think of it like, you got to make sure the soil is fertile so that when you plant the seed, it takes root. So it's like one of those things of like, yeah, I'm taking you through this. So by the time it's all said and done, it was like the intro. Then I'm going to put a little flesh on it. And then I'm really going to put some meat on it. And then we're going to season that hoe. Then we're going to do all the things.
Yeah. There's this whole thing, and people have been saying it for years on TikTok. They're like, romanticize life. And I never really understood it because I'm like, I thought everybody was doing that for the small stuff because there was never a time where you didn't do that. You never not did that. Our whole life has been romanticized, even like the small moments. I just never thought about it as romanticization.
And I never thought about it till you just said that.
You just like, you're very big on like, let's just like live it up. Like, let's really make it something.
Whatever little that you have, like you were talking about, we've talked about trips that we've taken and those things are like, we may not have much, but let's make the best of what we have.
You know what? That's really the start of it. You went on to Keisha, both single moms, teachers, sometimes scraping.
You guys had no idea. You get paid once a month. You pay all your bills, and you have $200 left, but you still got to put gas in your car for the rest of the month. So you're like, do I have money? It depends on what you're talking about.
Money for what?
For what? That's what I used to ask.
Yes.
But you know where I think it started? Thinking about mothers. It's just so precious. Whenever I think about my mom, it's like, it just hits me right here. She is definitely one that didn't have much money. But like she was a woman of like quality and value. Like when she did buy something, it was quality. It might cost her a little more. And I remember thinking like, she's gonna finally get that. But like, man, that seems like it's a lot. But she would take care of it and keep it forever. But
I wish y'all still had like her stuff like that.
yeah, I know. I have her purses, a couple of her purses.
Let me see them
But
purses.
I think the fact that she made a big deal about our birthdays, that I think kind of ushered in that part of me.
Yeah.
Because, she'd come in the room, she didn't always have a gift. And to be honest with you, I didn't even think about that till right now that I'm saying it. But
she would come in the room the way
she'd
you
come
do
in the
it, me
room
and
the way I
Cindy and
come with
LJ.
you early in the morning
Oh.
in Creole, telling us about when we were born and how much she's so happy God blessed her with me. And
she does that every birthday. I mean, now we all live in different. Look at you.
But I do it on the phone.
Yeah, you do it on the phone. Every single morning, she would wake us up before school and say, "On my birthday is September 16th. It was September 16th, 1998." And
I remember the night before.
right. It was the night before, and Dr. Bailey wasn't there, so I didn't want to push just yet.
They told me to push. I'm like, is Dr. Bailey here? They're like, no. Well, I'm not pushing
until Dr. Bailey gets
here.
She just goes
he's
through
delivering
the whole,
my baby.
Yeah, she goes through the whole story, like for each individual, like kid.
Yeah.
What she got going on?
And it's just, to me, it really is just special. It was like that is a moment.
And your mom did that.
She did that.
Mom, that's really
and
cute.
she was consistent. And I'll never forget, once I found out she had Alzheimer's, I remember the first Mother's Day, I didn't get a call from her. And I was
You'll
like,
probably never forget.
Nope. I remember the first Mother's Day, I didn't get a call. And I remember the first time she no longer said my name.
How did she address you after she?
Remember, by that point when she's in Alzheimer's, that stage of Alzheimer's, she's not addressing me.
Right, that's true.
You know
She's just talking. She's just talking. Remember, we used to ask you what is she saying, and you're just talking, not really.
And I would say that I was big on that. Everybody handles things differently when something's happening to their loved one. Some might get mad because they don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
Some might be overly emotional. Some might be so on the focus of we got to get things done because we got to make sure all our ducks are in a row. They don't have time to really be in touch with their emotions. But for me, I just wanted to give her space to I think that's why I'm so sensitive to the whole thing of when people getting older.
You are, and you've actually told me this before, so I need to keep it in mind because you would tell me that Uncle Parnell would be frustrated or whatever. And
he'd be frustrated because he wanted his mother.
She's getting older. No. Come over here.
He's been doing pretty good though, considering.
He has been, but I don't want him to walk towards no
but
wire.
I think that was his own hurt of wow, semblances of my mom, I'm losing it. I want there to be some indicators that she's still there.
Yeah, and I can't even blame him because I could see myself getting upset if our relationship is changing because you're becoming different because you're getting older, and I would feel what.
And I remember I used to say before we even knew she had Alzheimer's, I used to say he's like, she didn't remember. And then I'm like, give her a break. She is getting older. No, but I just talked to her and I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's just getting older.
She's just getting
let her
older.
Age, And so, don't get me wrong though. There were moments it was frustrating. I remember one time it was this whole story about she had just come back from Haiti. She'd been there for 2 weeks with my stepdad and she started saying all these things were happening in the house. And so I'm concerned. I remember it was a Saturday morning. I called Carla. I'm like, Carla, do you know that this was going on? She was like, let me go. Mm-hmm. And then she called me back. She talked to my stepdad and come to find out, none of that happened. Yeah. And that's when I was like, wow, my mom is really because she was such a sharp woman. There was no lying going on. I'll never forget, I heard her complain about something one day. I was on the phone with her.
You told me about this. And you were like, she doesn't even talk like that. You said she was being kind of negative.
She was being negative.
Yes, you're she never talks like that.
That really threw me off. Because first of all, when you think about somebody having that kind of sickness, I didn't know how it manifests. You just think about they forget things, right? And they slowly but surely get worse. But I never thought it was going to be an issue of she's talking negatively. She's making up stuff. Somebody's taking my money. I'll never forget that time. My brother had given her $700. I had given her $50 from our last trip to Miami. And she's looking for it. She's looking for it. At this point, I'm back in Huntsville. And she's like having a fit. She's like, I know somebody came to take my money. My sister's trying to help her find it. Finally, they get this wallet that she has. They look through the wallet. They don't see it. And then Carla looks carefully, and she had stitched her wallet closed. Opened the wallet, $750.
I didn't know she had.
She stitched it closed. So they go through this phase. It probably has a name. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like they become kind of like pack rats a little bit. Like they keep everything. Like she had bags inside of bags inside of bags. And just kind of hoarding and keeping things. I mean, it wasn't like a hoarder's house kind of situation, but it was just things were tucked
keeping
away.
Things and and
just she would just make up stories. So it was hard, but like I will say this, and it was sad because she used to work with Alzheimer's patients, and she said one thing I never want to have is Alzheimer's.
Yeah,
and literally it was like a double whammy when I found out because I very much so understood what Alzheimer's was, and just like me and you, oh, this is so neat. Me and her talked a lot.
Yeah,
like I would go to her room and lay across her bed. And there were things that she would talk about with me that I didn't even realize that she wasn't necessarily talking with anybody else about. And that's why when she passed, I knew she wanted to be cremated. And
because
I remember
she had told you that
she had told me. And I remember, I mean, she just in passing, we were talking, and they all looked at me like, cremated.
And you're like, no, she told me that.
I'm like, no, I know for a fact. She told me that. She don't want people crying over her casket. She don't want none of that. She believes in let the dead bury the dead. And, you know, she's going to see Jesus again. Like that was her thing. And so the compromise was, you know, my siblings were like, I want to have a service. We'll cremate her afterwards.
Yeah. And
I just said, I'm not going to push it. Like it was already a big deal for them to hear that she wanted to be cremated.
You have been telling me that for years too.
Really?
Because you would say that you wanted to as well. And I was like, you know what? I think I want to as well.
Yeah, I think there's just something very...
Two generations or three generations.
Mothers to this. But yeah, it's just going to funerals, like after a while, you're just like, this is a lot. And then I thought about Uncle Randy's funeral.
Dude.
And how it was so much easier to deal with. Even though it was still sad, it was a beautiful picture of him, of how you remember him.
That's like Teacher Michelle's funeral. Was
yeah,
a picture.
And that was a tough funeral, though.
That was rough.
Because that caught us off guard.
Oh, Lord.
But because it was pneumonia. Where'd that come from?
It was rough. And every single child at Madison Mission
was affected because she was everybody's mom, really.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was, what was I just saying, child?
Oh, Lord.
Child, you cannot do that when I do
that.
Bad
too. Yeah. At 26, my mind
too young for that.
Well, you were talking about the compromise was to have a service. Is that what you were going to say? Okay.
Yeah. And so, I wanted to be, I was like, it just seems like it's a lot. It's very emotionally draining. But when we could celebrate his life and, you know, cry a little bit, but then people were telling funny stories, and it was just so much easier
having like
for
the picture,
me to process. And I get it. You know, some people want to.
Already like a Haitian funeral, like that's something all in its own. And let me just say this. My little brother LJ.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart and his soul and his mind.
He had no idea.
I feel like people's...
This was 2016 because Else died in 2016. My mother died in 2017. My stepmother died in 2018.
Yes. Whoa. Woo.
There were 4 deaths in 5 years. My father was 2013.
Yes. If you are not Haitian, your introduction to funerals probably isn't going to be 3 Haitian funerals. His introduction as a small child to funerals was Haitian funerals. So like,
wait,
that's a double whammy.
And once again, whatever happens in the Black community, raise it to the 100th power.
Yes.
For a Haitian funeral.
Because I already will say, Black American funerals can be a lot. But like a Haitian funeral, like I know what to expect when I'm walking in there.
I mean, when I tell you wailing, when the Bible talks about weeping and wailing or the song.
I haven't, no. Thank you. He wants to go to Diani so bad.
Too many chords over there.
I have an aunt who we know. You know which aunt I'm talking about. She's throwing herself on the casket. She's raising up out of the pew. We have to hold her down.
Aunt, my sister?
Yes, my aunt. Yes,
My half sister.
My aunt.
Yeah.
She's raising up out of the pew. You have to literally hold her body down, mind you. This is LJ's first funeral. I think it's not funny.
Wait. Let's say what
It
age he is at this point. If this is 2016,
Ounce's
he
funeral.
was 7.
Ounce's funeral
Because he was born in 2009.
Yeah,
And LJ is not Haitian.
LJ's not Haitian. Ounce's.
Yes. He's not Haitian, but I will say
he's my stepbrother. I just forget.
We got married when he was 2 going on 3.
He was 2 years old. I forget that we're step
So
siblings.
genetically he's not, but he still had, got to see
he's low-key
some influences.
The fact that most of his funerals were Haitian for a while, he
that alone right there,
indoctrinated
stamp,
real
you're
good.
Haitian.
Yeah, he got broken real good.
Right.
Because we went to Ounce's funeral and Auntie White, I remember LJ looked up at me in fear. He had fear in his eyes. My aunt, she's like raising up. The pew is rocking. Have you ever seen a pew come up off the ground?
It was like convulsion.
Like, most people think that pews are like bolted in the ground. That's when I learned that they weren't.
She ain't bolted that
because
thing.
she was rocking. There, 2 people are holding her body down. LJ looked at me like this. Like he looked at me.
Trauma right there.
And I looked at him. I'm like this is how it is.
And
like,
literally,
it's okay.
that's so deep because he died in. My dad died in February. My mom died in March.
He died February.
Else
2013.
was January.
Yeah.
Else died in January 2016. A year and 2 months later, 3 months later, that's when my mother passed. And that's when Jimmy's mom came down, LJ's grandmother.
Yes.
And the whole funeral, she was in the back with him.
Yes. It got to a point where LJ was so scared of funerals. I said, he's been traumatized. He was so scared because that was his introduction to it. Me and Cindy's introduction to funerals was on like the American side of our family.
Right, but here's what's interesting, which there was a really sad funeral, that double funeral. But
oh, Lord.
He went from scared to death of funerals to watching funerals.
Obsessed.
Aretha Franklin,
Obsessed.
Michael Jackson's funeral.
Let me tell you something about LJ.
What 11-year-old starts to give you details? Oh, yeah, she had those shoes on during her funeral.
He'll be like, oh, they did that at Aretha Franklin's funeral. What? We were in Miami for something. LJ's like on his iPad, like watching something. It's not like we weren't watching him. I could see that some kind of service was going on. I was looking at what he was watching. I thought it was watching a church service. I said, he's sitting there. What are you watching? Aretha Franklin's funeral? I said, okay. I let it go because I'm like, it really was just a bunch of people singing,
And now he likes to go to funerals.
He wants to go. He wants to go and
but
help.
I will say this though, he does have a spirit of
there's like a healer part in him.
A healer part and providing a sense of peace for people that are hurting. Peace and comfort.
He's always been like that. Even when he was like 2 years old, somebody could be crying. He'll like approach you slowly.
He will.
His little 2-year-old tiny hand. He'll rub your hand. He'll say, "It's gonna be
okay." I need him to pour that peace and comfort into
the grades.
Into the grades.
Peace and comfort in the grades.
But it's so funny as we're talking about this.
Like, come on,
He's a couple of grades.
Yeah.
But like mothers I'm just thinking about the role mothers play. Like I said it so easy. Like it was Jimmy's mom that jumped in and was like, LJ, you can sit back here with me.
Yes. Like, and I think at one point they went out to the lobby.
They went out to the lobby.
She made sure he was fine because he
holding
just
it down.
Yeah.
But like
we understood we're like, he may need to step out because got some live ones on the front.
We got
some live ones
that are liable to pop off
they may pop off
at any given time. I mean, go back to my mom. Like
conservationist,
like meager beginnings as far as like, I mean, we stayed in a house and but we did start off with food stamps. Then apparently we weren't poor enough, honey.
But you can be honest,
I promise
though, like
you, I feel like we had food stamps for a month. That's what it seemed like. I'm like,
please,
how poor we got to be to get some food stamps?
How poor do you have to
be? And so, she just was always and that's
Yanni,
what she said.
You're the last person.
What she said?
Like she trying to get on them.
I want some.
Yanni.
Get on what?
Food stamps. Oh, you know what I will say? That was the best time of my life when I was on food stamps. But I needed it. I had just gotten out of college.
That was the best time of my life,
I didn't have a job.
Because you helped curb the grocery bill.
Yes. I didn't have no money. And I'm like, shoot,
that
let me
got
apply.
You through.
It really did get
you
me
had
through.
No money, but because you also like food. Like that was it. Like back then, that's all you were buying was food, really.
Yeah, and it allowed me to contribute.
You want to talk about a child who didn't buy clothes for herself?
Oh, like never, and I still don't. As a matter of fact,
much better
recently
now,
I'm much better. But the other night I said, Shari, you have to like start because I was realizing I'm having places to go nothing to where I have 20 million white tanks and 15 pair of jeans, and I'm wearing that same thing and some shorts. And I said, yeah, you like have to buy some clothes. Like you have to buy something. And then I bought clothes. But I was gonna say,
you did? Have I seen it?
Oh, Mom, I know you like to see. But I was gonna say on the tip of like being a conservationist and me and Donnie were like, she would throw this mic stand out. You are very conservationist. I do get that from you. And this was something you said in another episode. You were like, you feel like you're honoring your mom like when you do certain stuff. Whenever I run my dishwasher in a not full dishwasher, I'm like, I'm not honoring mom. But then I run it anyway. I run it anyway. But
I didn't expect you to say that
because there's certain stuff like you're like, we'll run it when it's full, or like washing a load of clothes. Like I will wash 2 items. But when I wash those 2 items, I'm like, mom would never. Boop, click, 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 wash. Like I be knowing.
So basically, all I get is the thought.
Yeah.
Like, in honor of mom
would never
throw these 2 in there.
Yes, but I still do get the conservationist gene from you because like when it comes to like food and things, like I make something, I don't really love how it tastes. Well, this is just for dinner for the next couple of nights because boy, you gotta eat it till it's gone. Like
I will say this though, I wouldn't say it's a confession, but there've been a couple times just in my adulthood I needed to wear something. There's a particular thing, and I would just wash that outfit. But I pay the bills.
And that's how I felt when I first moved in. And I remember I wanted to run my dishwasher, and I almost didn't. I said, "This is my house," and then I cleaned it, and I closed it, and I was like, "I'm doing it." Like I pay the water bill here.
Here's the upgrade. Growing up, this is so crazy. In my house, there was a dishwasher, but it was not.
It was not being put in use.
And then the one time we tried to use it, and we put soap in there, we ended up. Bubbles, suds, water everywhere. Come to find out the dishwasher was malfunctioning anyway.
Okay. But no, you had me and Sydney like that. Mm-hmm. When we lived in Harvest in that house.
There was a reason though.
No, hold on though. The dishwasher was broken, granted. When it got fixed, the dishwasher did not work at first.
When we first moved in?
I don't know if it was when we first moved in. By the time me and Sydney started washing dishes, the dishwasher didn't work anymore. Okay. And then when it got fixed, you said, we're still not using it and we're still going to wash by hand. Because I remember thinking like, yes, like we get to run the dishwasher.
You were like,
the reason why? Wash it. What?
You don't remember it all? Well, not so much you. But I was just concerned that it would be like, y'all not rinsing off the dishes really good. And then there's food in the dishwasher. Because now that dishwasher is supposed to do everything. It's supposed to get in there and scrub pots. There's a little man in there scrubbing pots.
You would say that you're like nobody's scrubbing things in a dishwasher, okay? Like you have to like
you got to do a pre-work before the dishwasher, and I just didn't want it to be like the default, and you're not truly. Yeah. But what's funny now is like I have a dishwasher now. Once in a blue moon, I wash it, and sometimes I'm kicking myself because I have a lot of dishes, and I'm like I could have put them in the dishwasher before. So used to washing
by hand. Let me tell you something. My dishwasher.
Still washing by hand.
Yeah. Now pots will always be washed by hand. I feel like you don't put
And I used to tell y'all that too, because I would see a pot in there. Who put the pot in here?
You would walk in, you would take the pot out, put it back in the sink. When it came to dishes, like you did not play games. But honestly, that's common in a lot of Black households where it's like, we're not using this dishwasher. Y'all gonna wash these dishes by hand. And I honestly feel like it's a good lesson because I can get these dishes clean. And I know I can get them cleaner than the dishwasher. However, as for me in my house, that dishwasher puts in work in this house, okay? But it's a really good one. But also...
Oh, you peeped out her dishwasher?
I
believe all the appliances.
Deani done scoped out the city.
Now, if you come home one day and you got no more appliances.
I got a dishwasher missing, a microwave pulled out the wall. Right. But even still with that, I rinse the dishes so well before they even hit the dishwasher. A food cake dish is not going into a dishwasher. Everything has been rinsed down. As a matter of fact, at that point, I probably could put them away. But no,
I have a whole system.
Think about the rim. I mean, like the rim and then also the forks. Like those are my 2 things.
Forks have grooves.
Oh, right, and stuff, and it's in between like this part.
Yes.
Like if this is the fork, it's not on top. It's not down low. It's the in betwixt and in between.
That you better look at that because if you don't look closely,
to this day, that is why. LJ, we rotate dishes like for the longest. Yeah, and I remember you were like, "We've been washing dishes." I'm like, I don't trust him. And I would give him a test, like, okay, go on and wash that. And then I'm pulling out bowls. I'm feeling stuff greasy. See, now this is more work.
Slick. This bowl is slick.
Did soap touch it?
I'm telling you, whenever he would wash dishes, I'm like, I'm coming up in there and I'm looking at them dishes.
Yes.
I'm inspecting, I'm
much
pulling
better.
things out. Yeah.
But we each have, once you moved in, it was like 4 weeks. Everybody that was nice too.
Yes.
Because that rotation was
that
much
was
longer.
nice because by the time it was your dish week, you're like, dang, I gotta do dishes.
Right.
In this house.
But now,
really...
LJ is blessed that me and his dad are still in the rotation.
He's so blessed because me and Sydney had
each
each other. Y'all could. But me and Sydney had each other. So I'm actually glad y'all aren't doing it because I like it better for him that he has.
Right. And I will say this, as a mom, confession, like there are times where you realize certain things are going to require more work than you have the capacity or bandwidth to deal with. So it's like you make an executive decision. You're like, I'm going to eat this one.
I'm going to eat this one.
I'm going to eat this one.
You can't fight every battle.
You can't fight every battle, especially, after you've been a parent for a while, you're just like, you know what? But I think what I'm going to do for myself, because I actually thought of it this past week, it wasn't my dish duty, but I was just looking at the dishwasher. I think I actually turned it on. Mm-hmm. Like, Rachel, with the way your life is set up, you really need to be using the dishwasher more often.
You really more than anyone. Right. And you're probably the best person to, because I know you do a good dishwater.
Yes.
You're good for
here's my routine.
You feel too good about your routine.
Here's my routine. Not only do I rinse off the dish and make sure it's not soiled, I then soak it in that hot soapy water. I know. Then I take it out, rinse it, and put it in for the dishwasher.
And I know because one thing you're going to do is go tell it on the mountain. What? Every time you do the dishes, you're like, well, let me tell you about my routine because what I do.
You know why?
You love to talk about.
Because other folk get up there and just leave water running that whole time. Like I'm
told
saving
him don't do that too. I told LJ don't do that. Do you know what? Because I used to do. I said, LJ, I used to do this. It took me forever. He's grabbing each individual dish, wash, rinse, dishwash. No.
Oh wait, guess what he did this past week?
What he do?
He'll kill you. I'm at the dinner, I'm at the kitchen table. I think I was watching something on my iPad, and I see in my periphery. First of all, I hear water. The spray part is on. You
told me about this, but
I told you part of it.
Okay.
The spray part is on.
Yes.
So I'm like, it looks like kind of steamy over there. That's number one. And it's like the spray part. And so I look, and he has a fork in his hand, and literally the spray is like this on the fork. Okay?
Here's what I don't understand. Have you seen anybody do that in this house?
Right. The spray part is right here on the fork.
No way.
No, he picks it up, washed it, rinsed it off, then put it on the other side.
And you know what I know? I know the wash literally was like, he didn't like scrub.
Then keeps it spraying, grabs the next one. I said, LJ, what are you doing?
I love when you do that. You say it the same way too.
And then I stand up. I said, you see all that water on the counter? That's you.
Yes.
First of all, it doesn't have to be on the power spray.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, wash them and stop keeping that water running.
Wash them all at once.
Yes.
Then rinse them all at once.
Because it's not even that many dishes. Like if you wash them, like you'll be done. But you're doing, and it's like in his mind, his way. He think his way is.
He felt like he was doing a good job.
I know he felt like that, and
to be honest with
told him.
I don't even know if he cared about doing a good job.
He doesn't. He doesn't. Because I told him multiple times. I said I did it your way. Listen to me because I know.
Sorry, but I never saw you
I've done it before.
I never forget that time.
Well, I probably was faster.
In Harvest, you had cleaned the kitchen. You were young because we moved when you were going to the seventh grade.
Yeah. I had 6th grade in Harvest.
Auntie Stephanie came in there and she saw the kitchen. She said, Rachel, who cleaned this kitchen? I said, this is Charlotte. She said, honey, you can eat on this floor.
One thing about me, I'm getting something clean to a T.
Drove me crazy about you and your sister. It was like I had both ends of it. One of y'all did it quickly, but it may not be as thorough. The other one was very thorough, maybe too thorough.
20 million hours.
But it took you 20 million hours.
Yeah.
And you already came back late from dance.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And you still had to read for AP US history.
Yeah, because we were having a chapter every single week.
Chapter every single week.
Honestly, not even 2 chapters really a week. But and then you had to make a rule. She had to make a rule for me and my sister because one thing about me and Sydney just talked about this.
They're always talking about me.
It's not even always talking about you. Me and Sydney talk about our childhood a lot just because we remember so many things.
I'm itching.
But we were saying, we were like, wow, like we really stressed mom out sometimes because I said, Christopher, think about it. By the way, I call my sister Christopher. It's a long story. Her name is Sydney. I said, if you think about it, no relation. No relation. And if I explain how we got there, make sense. It would take forever.
Her middle name's not Christina.
If I tried to explain the references that took us there, it would take forever.
I think that would be cute.
Yes.
She's a feminine woman.
She literally is. So there's no, and she calls me Christopher as well. We both call each other Christopher.
You want to tell them real quick where it comes from?
It will take a long time. Not like forever, but it will take a while.
Yeah, I've heard you say it took seconds, but go ahead.
Yeah, but that's because you have some kind of reference for our background. So we could say, oh, remember when we used to say, I would have to even tell them, well, we said this because da-da-da.
Got it.
You have the background.
Got it.
Asking people if they want Sydney to come.
Oh, yes. Message down below. Comment down below. Oh, my gosh. Message. I sound like you.
Hold up. Not too much on me. I said like, share, and subscribe.
You'll be like, look how many messages.
Sorry, how many years ago was that?
This year.
No.
You'll say, this video got 300 reels.
Sorry, that was literally when you first started.
Mom. No, because I just heard you say this. Every now and then you'll look at a post, you'll correct yourself, but you'll be like, oh, this has 300 messages.
Sorry, there's no way I'm doing that because I have my own.
I know.
I post all the time.
I know that. That's the thing.
I will fight you.
No, here's the thing, Mom. I know
you're not being nice to your mother.
Mom, no, listen. I know that you're familiar with posting. I'm saying sometimes I can tell that your brain is working fast and you're thinking about other stuff. So you may sub in a word like messages for comments. You will do that sometimes.
That's it, period. At first it was making it sound like I don't know the difference.
I don't think that you actually think that's what it is. Okay. But once you got a hold of it, sometimes you will be like, all right. Oh, this I'll give you that. Continue. I've been trying to say the same thing for like 15 minutes now.
See, not too much. Like,
okay, but you put us in an argument.
But I threw up the white flag and you're still trying to hold on to it.
Okay, Miss White Flag. Anyway.
See, it's that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, you have been condescending all day with these little... matter of fact, it started off that way. And now you brought it back.
Anyway, me and Cindy talk about it. Sometimes we're like, wow, like it was us two against mom. Like mom was by herself wrangling us. Me and Sydney were doing that's how we started talking about it. We were like, wow, when we were kids, we would be like acting crazy, like having so much fun. We're yelling, we're screaming, we're jumping, we're running from this person's room to the next person's room. We're jumping on this person's bed. We'd be like out of breath. Like you come to the back sometimes and we're like breathing heavy and you're like, girls, get in the shower now. And our chest is just rising and falling because we were playing so rough. And I'm like, wow, like mom had to do it by herself and just wrangle us. Like, and you did it. You did it seamlessly. With just,
it looked seamless.
It looked seamless. But you really, like, you had us together and me and Cindy are just like sometimes swinging from the rafter, it seems. And you're like, Cindy, you get in the shower first, or you go eat. And then y'all switch and you're getting in the bed and we're just like, okay, mom. Like,
trying to sneak stuff. But I think you were about to tell them about the rule I came up with when y'all are washing the dishes.
Oh my gosh, yes, that is what it came from. Me and my sister played way too much when we were younger. When I say way too much, I mean like we played and we still do as adults. Honestly, nothing has changed. When one person was cleaning the kitchen, the other person who wasn't was out there entertaining the other one. But it didn't
slowing the other one down.
So it didn't stop at like, we're just entertaining. We have the one washing the dishes involved in whatever. So Cindy comes out there. We're like, okay, let's do this cheer. Because we were both in the cheer team. Then we're stepping. Then we're clapping. I'm doing this. My mom comes out. The other one runs to the back.
Mad dash.
It's because once you made up the rule and said, from here on out, if one of y'all is washing the dishes, the other one cannot be out here. Right. What started happening was we still was trying to be out there, but she would come out of the room and the other one is running to back of the room.
Yeah, because it was enough like this with the way the space was. If y'all weren't too loud, y'all could get away with it. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm hearing too much commotion going on.
The water has been turned off.
I'm hearing beats that are repetitive.
Right.
I'm like, that's a cheer.
Yes.
And that's a couple pair of feet.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
We used to have so much fun though.
It was so much. But I just, you know what I enjoyed as a mom? And a lot of people can't say this. it was a couple things. By the time y'all were both in high school, and it was like you were in 9th, she was in 12th. So you just came in, she was on her way out. We was riding to school together. We were driving home together.
I liked it.
After school,
we're rushing to tell you about our day.
Y'all are fighting about who's going to tell me about your day first.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, I was telling her such and such. Well,
especially first day of school, like, Mom, no, Cindy.
I'm like, girl.
And you're sitting there like this.
One at a time.
Oh, we wanted to talk to you.
Did. And I was like, sometimes I'd be like, such and such was here first, or she started first.
Yes.
Go ahead. And then I remember when Sydney, went away to Oakwood. I remember that's what made me sad when I said goodbye to her. Mm-hmm. Like missing her, but it was like, I'm not going to get to talk to her every day. Like about her day.
I remember.
Like we were the type, we were eating dinner together. And we just always talked. Like I always knew what was going on.
Always
for the most
talked.
part, like reasonably. I'm sure it's not every single thing y'all tell me, but for the most part, we just always talked. And then
especially that era of life, Uncle Parnell, Auntie Charlene.
It was
and
7
then
of us in the house.
Jimmo and LJ moving in. Every night we're sitting down for dinner. Each person is talking about work, school.
There were
it was
5
the
adults
best.
in that house. No, wait. 4 adults that could cook. And then you and Sydney could do a little something. LJ was the only one that couldn't cook. So that was nice too, because I'd be tired, and so I didn't always have to cook.
It helped a lot.
But
which sidebar, LJ is now Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
He's going into the kitchen. He
Cooking
can fry
up
chicken. Cook, not telling you what you ran out of. So now when you go to cook, you don't even know what's there.
This week, I just want to put some cheese, some cheddar cheese on my baked potato.
Cheese gone. He done made mac and cheese. Like, I was just telling Tini, I said, LJ will go and cook up a storm rando.
He made chicken tenders.
Yes.
And mac and cheese.
And I'm like, LJ, I never made, me and Sydney cooked, but we weren't like frying chicken. But me and Sydney cooked though. But LJ going in the kitchen frying chicken. I said, Sydney, LJ will make up, that's when you can cook. LJ will make up a recipe and go make it.
And he literally went from, I can say this, I was always intentional about each of my children teaching y'all, breaking y'all into the kitchen. Because the worst thing you want
you did
is first of all, you want to be safe.
Right.
The kitchen, and I really had to tell him that. I'm like, it can be a fun place, but it has to first be a clean place and a safe place.
Yes.
And so you got to follow these things. And then, but the fun is just going to come out of what you're doing, what you're creating, the whole bit. And I think I started everybody with eggs, maybe.
I think you
breakfast.
Did. Well, you started me with you be making hamburger helper, and you be like, you can pour the cheese in.
But by then, weren't you making eggs?
When I was really, really little, you'd be like, you can pour the cheese in.
Oh, yeah.
The powder. I used to love pouring in that powder and stir it in. Ooh, boy.
Just kind of get y'all familiar with that space. And so by the time, I started doing the whole thing of each of y'all got to take a day out the week. Let's go to the grocery store, get your list. Because in my mind, when you get older, you're going to have a grocery list. You got to know how to do the thing. And I didn't want to put another thing on me. Yeah. So y'all figure out, and you feel empowered. I get to cook what I want.
Yeah.
And so y'all would find it. You would cook it. And for the most part, you did that. LJ, I pretty much did the same thing.
Yeah.
But he went from he could cook eggs. He cooked breakfast, pancakes, the whole bit.
The acting confused.
He went, his regular was tacos, where he just browning the meat, seasoning it.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden one day
he just took the bull by the horns and
said, I said I wanted this to eat, and boom, boom, boom.
Literally, he'll come to you. Can you go to the grocery store and get me coriander, turmeric? We're like, and what you about to do?
Alaskan red salt.
Right.
And I'd be like, that's why I made that post about him.
Literally.
What would you think this is?
Yes, random ingredients.
The first thing you do is check the cupboards and the refrigerator for what we already have.
And see what you can make shake.
Wait, and see what you can make shake. And before that, see if there was dinner leftovers.
Right, before you go in cooking up a storm, and now we got 20,000 things. But when I was really impressed by him, 2 times actually, and this is when I told him, I went to him, I said, you now know how to cook. Because when you can go in the kitchen and make a way without a recipe.
Make a way out of no way.
Look, okay? When you can do that, you can really cook, because you have an understanding of the kitchen. You have an understanding of taste, what things go together. You know what I mean? Not everybody can cook without a recipe. When he made that Alfredo with the chicken and the sausage and the broccoli, and then when he made the
other stuff I brought you
with the macaroni noodle,
that was a hallelujah meal.
Yes,
because there was never. I would have never
He had no reference for that.
Right. That was when I made the post because he's calling me about all these random things he wants. It was broccoli.
Yes.
It was squash.
Oh, and it was bomb.
It was chicken. It was rice and macaroni. I would have never
put them two together.
I would have never put them two together.
Rice and a macaroni elbow.
You know what made me eat it?
What?
Jimbo coming in saying, babe,
he was like, that was
did
good.
you taste what LJ made? Taste this. And you know, Jimbo was real weary about eating LJ's
he's picky
food.
anyway. He ain't,
honey. And then I brought it to you. I said,
I tore that mess up. And here's what's even more impressive about that one. Alfredo, he has such a reference for that. Me and you will whip out an Alfredo in a second, okay?
Right.
Once we did Alfredo,
he really loved that. He was doing that too.
He made that up off the dome. It was so much so to where I went to talk to him after. I said, take me through your process. I'm interested to know. Right. Because how did you get an idea? He said, well, I made all this macaroni. I said, Mom is not going to be happy if I have all this macaroni and I waste it.
Conservationist.
Yes. So he said, I'm going to have to figure out a recipe. I said, LJ, I tore it up to where I wanted more. After I ate it, I said, I can't believe this is gone.
Yeah, it was gone.
I'm proud of him with that.
And as I think about this, like, oh, it's just one of those honoring your mom things.
Yes.
My mom, what's important about cooking, especially, first of all, in the Haitian culture, what'd you just say?
It's from a show. It's from a show. I said my mom, but I said it like Muscle Man from regular show.
Say it again.
My mom.
Oh my gosh.
If you've seen regular show, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it sounded like a different person. But like, it's really about knowing how to season food. Like you always say, it's like, don't ask me how much. I
couldn't tell you. I can't tell you a teaspoon, a tablespoon of this seasoning.
Yes. And so I'm always glad to hear that because I'm thinking my mom would be proud because in the kitchen, one of the things Haitians do, and come to find out, it comes from African culture. I was watching something on Netflix.
Yes, you told me about it.
And they were talking about everything, just the African diaspora and how what we do with our foods. And they would take the spoon because they didn't want you to put your mouth on the spoon and then just pour some of the sauce onto your hand and you taste it like that. Mm-hmm. And literally from the time y'all started cooking, more than the how-to cooking, I wanted you to understand, I wanted your taste buds to know what good food tastes like.
Yes.
And like, remember I used to it was almost like a test. I was always teaching. I'm like, what's missing?
Yeah, Mom.
What should we add?
You know what's crazy?
What should we take away?
I never thought of it this way until now because like you said, like when you are like becoming somebody who can cook, when it's really in you, there's not a way you can teach it like methodically. Like, okay, so you add this much of this and if you just do this, blah, blah, blah. No, it was the way you did it. You would literally, you're making like chicken or whatever, and you get whatever sauce and you put it in our palm, and you would literally look and say, what should I add? What's missing? Yeah, so we had to sit there and taste translate and say,
I like that.
Lori's
taste translate.
Garlic powder. Or it'd be like, you need more like tomato paste. You need more salt. Like, or don't put any more salt. I'd be like,
don't put any more salt. It needs more flavor.
Right. I'm like, it's too sweet. You need to cut it with the salt, or it's salty, but we need more flavor. Put some garlic powder. Like, Mom.
Yes. Can you think of other stuff that I just thought of this. I knew you were gonna get excited. You always get excited.
I love like a little like.
Can you think of stuff that like I taught you guys that you know came straight from like my mother? Or just our culture.
Now, I will say, oh my gosh, because I've been like a bun-un kick lately. Like I'm eating it with every single meal. And I had said it in one of my videos.
Bun-un is green plantains.
Yes, fried. Like Haitians like fry
but
it.
It comes
Dominicans
from
also fry it, and there's somebody else.
And then they got the sweet plantains.
Yes.
And the ones that are salty because they're green, so they haven't finished ripening.
Yes.
So you cook them, smash them, cook them
again,
and add some salt. You put a little garlic on
one
that
of my favorite foods ever, and I apparently forgot how much I loved it. I've been eating it a lot lately. But I said in one of the videos, you taught me how to make it when I was like 11 or 12. Yeah. Very early on. Like,
because honey, you was late because there's some little Haitian kids in Haiti at 5.
It's a 4-year-old who could do it. Yeah, I'm like, really?
Honey, that was my half sister, honey. She could cook a whole meal.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Auntie Wagney, like taking you around Haiti.
Taking me
at
around
5
Haiti
years
at 5.
old. Like, please.
And I was 14.
Yes, and she's just walking around, probably
telling
thick
me
Creole,
everything.
like
And lying, probably lying.
Mom, I love when you do it.
That is like I went while she died. Like she was just.
I love when you because you mock her the same way every time. I'm like,
I just couldn't believe it because I'm 14, and I mean I wasn't like a slack off, but like she was like Somebody had emboldened
She was really
her,
with
like,
it. Yeah.
She was the tour guide.
She was the tour guide at 5 years old.
At 5 years
and whenever
old.
you tell me that, I'm like, wow, like I remember when LJ was 5, like he couldn't have taken me around Douglasville.
No, but he could have preached a good sermon.
And that's tea. And that's tea.
But yeah, so what are the things
but yeah, I think about that, like making banan, like that's like a really that's like a really, like, I don't know, sacred thing to me, I guess. Like I would almost, like, I want to teach LJ and be like, okay, so this is how you do it. Like you have to know how to make this. Like I feel like if you're Haitian, like any Haitian kid, like if there's anything you just need to know how to make besides a good pot of rice.
Right. I was going to say,
you gotta be able to just make you some good banan. Like I'm having it breakfast, lunch, and dinner at this point.
No surprise.
Because somehow I forgot. I'm like, how did I forget that I like this? And now the fact that I can whip it up so fast. I remember when I was a kid, and even though you taught me, and it did become easy when I was younger, I'm like, this is the easiest thing to make ever. There still was in my mind, I'm like, ooh, like this is hard, sometimes hard. Like I don't want to mess it up. It felt like it could be like easy to almost mess up, cook it too long. Yeah. When I tell you I make it in a flash, I literally peel, chop, fry,
Listen,
smash,
every time I open up TikTok, you peeling a banan and cutting it.
Let me tell you something about it.
And frying and smashing and frying.
Yes. And killing 10 pieces.
You eating it with breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I am eating it with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I feel like it's my right. You know what I mean?
It is. So I definitely showed you that. The cooking thing.
What? Drinking the charcoal when you have an upset stomach.
But you know what's so funny? That wasn't a Haitian thing. She didn't do the charcoal? But
I thought you got it from her.
What comes from her is
Where you get that?
Finding natural means of doing stuff. I found out about charcoal when I went to Oakwood.
Oh.
Because I found out that it's like it takes out,
because you can't digest it. So
you can't digest it. So whatever,
gonna have to come up.
Go back to if you got a stomach ache, it's gonna pull out whatever's in there.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's where that came from. No,
I thought it came from her.
No,
okay.
Translate. Hers was the tea. Boil some tea.
I will say natural remedies for being sick. That's straight from her to you to me.
Yeah.
I will. Even though one thing about me, medicine down. Okay. I have a headache, I'm taking the Advil. I have a cramp, I'm taking the I don't wait. I'm not, because like Sydney told me, she's like, I'll wait it out and see. If I'm not waiting, if I think about a cramp, it must be time for me to take some Advil, because I don't wait for it to get bad.
Yeah, when it comes to that.
Yes. However, I will do a natural remedy real quick. If I feel myself getting sick, oil of oregano, it's time for garlic ginger tea with honey and a frog's leg and a tomato. Like it's time for
and a frog's leg.
The motions and potions for me. And I feel like the natural remedy, you got that from her and you would do it for us. And now when I'm getting sick, that is my go-to. Like I'm immediately.
And it's good to know that you can do things that, you can really take care of yourself without having to immediately go to medicine or immediately go to the doctor. There are people that their go-to is go to the ER.
Yeah.
And I can't, first of all, just having to wait 20, 50, 100 hours is enough for me to not be in there. But I'm glad that I could. Here's what's rewarding as a mom. Good, bad, or indifferent. Like there are things you pass on to your kids, not all of it is great, but like just being able to see like your efforts that you put into your children and then it comes to fruition. And like, oh, they got it, or they kept that, or they see the value in that. And, there are times it may be some things you didn't keep. And it's like, you also got to be, as a mom, like, I got to be all right with that. Like, I can't force them to keep that same tradition. However, I introduced it.
Right. Like washing the dishes with dishwasher with 5 dishes in it. The biggest thing that your mom passed on to you that you passed on to me, like the insane, almost scary intuition. Like 1000%. And I told Sydney about it recently and she calls it the vision. And now she keeps asking me stuff.
I thought it was like, Haitian sensation or something.
Right, the Haitian persuasion.
What is Haitian persuasion?
That's what Diane used to call it. But now it's getting to the point where Sydney will call me. She'd be like, okay, so do you see this or not? And I'm like, Sydney, it's not like I can just conjure up a vision. But I'm just telling you. So I have this thing. I'll explain it to him because I've explained it to you before. I have this thing where if I can't see something happening, it's probably not going to happen. And if I can see it, it is going to happen. And you could call that like self-fulfilling prophecy, but it's I'll explain. It's just to a degree where sometimes it could seem a little scary. Case in point. One time I'm driving home from Huntsville and literally as I'm driving, I could see like a car driving at me head on. Not that it's happening, But in my head, the idea came to me and I was like,
I do that.
I should probably be prepared just in case that happens. And when I tell you, there was nothing that happened that would have led me to think that. I'm listening to music. There was nothing, but I was like, I feel like a car could drive at me head on. Not even kidding. 5 minutes later, a car did drive at me head on. And I immediately got over into the shoulder because I thought about it in advance. It's like, I could literally see it happening. Also, I don't know if I told you this. When I was in college and I had gotten 2 scholarships, but one of them, I remember I was done with dance. I got in my friend's car and I was like, what if I had a scholarship in my email right now, and opened it and there it was. So it's like, there's certain things that before it's just, it's like a feeling. And it's like, if I can envision something, if I can see it, I'm like, I can conceive anything that I can see. But now if I could see it and I can believe it and I can conceive it. Yeah. But now Sydney calls it the vision. So we'll talk about stuff. She'd be like, Ashara, you have the vision. Like, you got the vision. She don't think she has it. Well, I told her that. I said, Sydney, our whole family, I feel like, gets that from your mom.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that. And that's a wonderful way to kind of, as we bring this to a close, just thinking about, like, honestly, first of all, my mom, she was a God-fearing woman, but I think, like, her prayers, her faith, literally.
Like, covered.
Not only covered, but infused within us. And we carry it. And there are times, like, I'm in a moment and I really do think about her. And I'm like, wow, like, this is really, like, is paid forward. And multiplied.
And I feel like we all have, like, strong intuition, like strong gut feelings, like to the point where it feels like it's pulling us.
At us.
No, like this can't happen, or no, we need to go do such and such. Yeah. And we always figure out why later. Like, I'm so glad I listened to my gut.
And you know what you call that too? Discernment. It is discernment.
Mom,
spiritual
it's
discernment.
So, like, heavy on us.
It is.
And 1000% that from your mom to you to me. Like, I'm telling you, the stuff that me and Sydney, like, talk about, like, situations that we've been in or whatever. And I'm like, Sydney, like, I just swear the way we grew up, like, I just knew, like, no.
Yeah, and I'm thankful for that. Like, no, y'all not spending the night over there. I wasn't even big on that. But no, come to find out something happened at the sleepover.
It's like stuff don't sometimes feel right. And I'm going to go with it every single time. Because guess what? If nothing happens, what did I lose?
No harm, no foul.
Nothing. No harm, no foul.
Oh, wow. This was good.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone. Listen, be sure to like, share, subscribe, tell somebody. All right? This was So Tell Me This Sunday.
And we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye. He emerged.
Can I go bathroom?